Hey, good morning. Hi, Kelsey. How are you?
Morning.
Good morning.
Good, how are you?
Hey, we're talking to Kelsey Jenney. She has two first names, which she's always joking about, and wonderful hair. I mean, she's got the greatest hair of all people I've ever met, I think. And Kelsey is involved with Young Life in Michigan. She's also gone to school recently, and she's very, very good at the Enneagram and can also really help you spiritually with direction. And I think she's got a very interesting story, and she's got a great sense of humor. And I know in her bio she talks about loving chocolate, and she loves her dog. She has three dogs, and she can maybe elaborate on that in a minute. But anyway, welcome, Kelsey. And we want you to tell your story, really about how Christ revealed himself to you or how you found your faith. But first, talk
Yeah.
about yourself a little bit.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me. Nice to see you. Yeah, my name is Kelsey. Last name is Jenney. Two first names. So I just made a call yesterday, and the gal's like, "Your last name is Jenney," and I was like, "Yes, that was my last name." So, but I am on Young Life staff. So half of my job on staff is speaking on behalf of the mission. So I travel and speak, which is great. And then the other half is working with young adults with disabilities in our Capernaum ministry, which is our ministry to our friends with diverse or various abilities, which is probably the deepest joy of my life. And then I get to kind of partner in different ways in the mission. So I have deeply loved that. If you don't know what Young Life is, it's a nonprofit Christian ministry. We are in 107 countries around the world, in every state in the United States. And so we minister to high school kids, middle school kids, college age folks, Capernaum, which is our friends with diverse various abilities, and then teen moms all kind of fall under the umbrella of Young Life. And that's how I met Betsy, which is so fun. So
Yeah, right. At camp.
what'd you say?
I said we met at camp.
You got it, girl.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know.
So, which is so fun. So yeah, yeah.
So anyway, we met at camp, and I've heard you tell numerous stories because you have a great sense of humor and a lot of stories in your pocket. But yeah, Kelsey speaks all over the world too. And so she has come across a lot of different situations. But maybe if you can talk about a story or how Christ has revealed himself to you or how you really began your faith.
Yeah, so I actually was in Young Life in high school, which I was the president of my class, varsity cheerleader in like every club that I could be in because I wanted to be in every yearbook photo that I could be in. So and I had never heard about Young Life until my junior year. And so I was sitting in math class like complaining about all these things I had to do, just like the rigors of high school. And my friend Dana turned around and she said, "You are just like a flashlight." And I was like, "What?" And she had gone to Young Life camp the summer before and had heard this from their camp speaker. And so she was like, "You fill your life with all these things. And what you need are the batteries, and the batteries are Jesus, and you should come to Young Life." And I was like, "There's a club in this school I haven't joined." And so, the joke was on me. I didn't know there wasn't a yearbook photo for it. But I remember showing up to Young Life Club. Young Life does not meet in a church. We meet in people's homes typically. We really are an outreach based ministry. So to students who wouldn't normally go to a youth group or maybe go to a church, although anyone can belong and come. But I remember walking in my junior year with Dana. She brought me, and I just remember being captivated by not only the community that was inside the home, just people were so excited to be there and having a great time, but genuinely just so wildly interested in how they talked about Jesus. And I remember Brian, one of our Young Life leaders, just sharing the truth of who Jesus is and who he can be. And I just was unlike anything I had ever heard before. And so, kind of through that year, I kept going to club and was listening, very interested. But I would say that the moment the Lord revealed himself to me fully was at Young Life camp. So I always say camp is the worst word we use in Young Life because they really are multi-million-dollar resorts for kids. And so, it's not like camp at all. It really is like, going to the Dominican Republic. They're just gorgeous, gorgeous properties. There's 27 around the country. I got to go to Rockbridge, which is in Virginia. And I remember sitting in clubs. So every evening you hear a message about Jesus. And really the hope is it's in a way that high school or middle school students, whoever is in camp, that we can really process and understand. So really delivered and driven to the audience that the camp speaker is speaking to. And I just remember hearing that there's nothing that you have to do to prove yourself to the Lord or to earn his love. And that just, to me, who longed for love and belonging, and I would say probably sought it out through all of these different ways, unbeknownst to me maybe at the time, but I was just captivated by the truth that the Lord loved me from the moment that he even breathed me into existence, and have just been wildly captivated by that ever since. So I sat in a cabin and spoke with some friends, and that evening said yes to a relationship with Jesus. And I just remember I the first thing I said to my friend Dana, who was there, I said, I feel like it's the first time I'm smiling from the inside out. Like I just felt this deep love and belonging, which I believe was the Holy Spirit. And I have never been the same. And so I am so grateful, not only to the mission and to the ministry of Young Life, but to my friend Dana and to our Young Life leader, Brian, too. Yeah, it just felt like the Lord was there and real and available, and has changed my life. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. You were smiling from the inside out.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to describe it. So you're talking about the fact that you changed. You felt like just this amazing. You felt loved, completely
Yeah.
loved, unconditionally loved. Did that change you in your high school experience from that point on? How did that change you?
Yeah, I would say for me, it has been this radical belonging and love that has rooted me in a way that nothing else has. And the way that I communicate it now, which I don't know the wording I would have used in high school, but the evolution of how I would look at it now is everything else in this world will fail us, fool us, and forget us, right? Like everything else. And not because they're bad things, they're just not things that we were designed or created to root our life in. And so I remember going back my senior year and just feeling like I had love to give away because it wasn't contractual anymore. I wasn't earning something from the person that I was in front of. I simply was participating in the goodness of what the Lord had offered me and sharing that with the world around me and with the people around me. It's allowed me to love, not because the person in front of me deserves it, but because they are someone who the Lord has declared. And this is a truth I share anywhere I go in Genesis, that we really are declared very good by the voice of God when he breathed us into existence, you and me. And it's regardless of anything that we have done or will ever do, that we are deeply and dearly loved by a God that created us and knows every hair on our head, which for me, that is insane, right? Like that's a lot of hair.
I
But
know. But that's a beautiful story.
yeah. So
So how would you leave us today, as far as just with a closing statement, something that
yes.
maybe something a little profound or maybe just humorous? How
Yeah,
would you leave?
no, the thing that I have said, I have been stuck and struck in this story, which typically happens to me, is in Mark 1. Jesus is doing ministry, goes to the house of Simon, and Simon's mother-in-law is sick in bed with a fever. The three things that Jesus does, which I just want to say, if you don't believe that the Bible's true, this would have been radical in their time, because Jesus walks into her bedroom, which, like, if the biblical people wanted to like create a narrative that nobody would believe, like it would include a man walking into a woman's bedroom in that time period. So like it's got to be true, right? Um Jesus goes to her bedroom, grabs her hand and helps her sit up. And I have found those three postures of our God so inviting, that he comes close and that he holds our hands, and that when we're ready, he helps us sit up. That our God is not only so powerful, he is so deeply personal. And I don't know where whoever's watching this is at, or Betsy, even where you're at today, but the three postures of our God, that he comes close to find us, that he holds our hands when it doesn't feel like things are going to be okay, that he doesn't hurry us along, but instead helps us sit up when we're ready. I just love that our God is both powerful and incredibly personal to us. And that has ministered to me in this season of life so deeply, that he's waiting and he's willing and he's welcoming us to come in however we find ourselves. And so that to me speaks volumes about who Jesus wants to be, who he longs to be, and who he can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. No, I love that. The fact that you have a powerful God and at the same time is such a personal God who really,
absolutely.
yeah, who really loves us, but he can, he made the universe. He can change the universe.
Yeah,
He's
totally.
fun. But anyway, well, Merry Christmas to you.
Yes, Merry
And
Christmas to you.
thank you for joining us on Sparkle, where we connect, inspire, and encourage people in their faith.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good to
all
meet
right.
you, Kelsey.
Well, have a wonderful week. See you
Thanks,
soon.
you
All
too.
right.
Okay.
Bye.